Whoopsie. Basically what ended up happening is my camera battery died, but we have Connor Blue to the rescue because I have a D-tap to dummy battery in there. So hopefully that doesn't die either. But that was something that probably was bound to happen at some point. So now we are just going to wait for everybody to come back into the stream again because damn it. The best cliffhanger. Yo, I honestly forgot what we were talking about beforehand. Now I gotta wait for everybody to come back in because damn it. Essentially my stupid me thinking that connecting the USB 3 cable into my computer was also going to charge it. It's supposed to. It didn't. And then the battery died mid sentence. And I think we were talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. So now I have to wait till everybody comes back. So thanks for y'all coming back. I'm sure some people were like, oh, well, the show's over. I'm going to go and go about my day. But I pretty much have a call. I don't have a call till like, what, 3 o'clock my time. So I'm gonna stay here for a minute. So I'm not leaving. But anyways, I think we were talking about JJK Boruto, and My Hero Academia, top 3 anime that I'm reading or trying to catch up with right now. And dude, that sucks. Good while lasted. No, we back, bro. Oh shoot. Okay. Some people once we get to like you're halfway through color grading. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about log footage. Shit. Okay. I want to. Is the person that asked the question about um log footage back in the stream? Because I feel bad now because my camera kind of just conked out on me for no reason. Actually, it didn't conk out for no reason. The battery died. But I at the very least want to get through that part before going on, at least for the person that asked it. I feel bad now because I feel like that dude thinks it's actually over and he's probably not coming back and he's probably going to go to his like homepage in about a second. Uh, let's see how it does. Okay, don't feel bad. The stream say, oh yeah, the stream understand that you could still answer the question. Oh yeah, shoot. Okay, yeah. So basically, for those of you guys that are back into the stream, somebody asked about log footage and why is it important to have log, or why is like log rating and stuff like that important and stuff like that. But essentially what ends up happening is when you have like a log image, it's going to be grayscale, desaturated, and the reason why they do that is to get the most dynamic range out of the picture profile and not bake in any like to bake in less effects into the file. There's an easier way to explain this. I'm not good at it. But essentially what happens with log is you have to bring that back in, which is a kind of complicated process. It's not necessarily complicated. However, it's you just have to bring your log footage back to something called Rec 709, which is a color space in a dynamic range that most of our screens, our computer screens, our TV and stuff are all able to see. So you're going to start off with a bigger dynamic range. And then once you've put on a Rec 79 conversion, ideally, if you're using DaVinci Resolve, you're doing things under the hood. So you're able to manipulate different effects. You're able to manipulate, different parts of your color grade underneath that Rec 709. Rec 709 is just what you see at the end. Everything underneath that is the things that you can manipulate, right? So I think some people might get it, at least in terms of like a serial node tree, some people get it wrong where they'll put the Rec 709 in the front and then we'll do stuff after, but you limited the color space already, and now you're just editing over limited color space of footage. Again, colors will explain this way better than I do. But when you're working under the hood, you're able to work in the wider dynamic range and all the other things that come with using log footage out of your camera. Thing with converting it is you could do a lot of that um, conversion and the color grading as well. Some people just expedite that process, but you still have to work underneath the hood if you have to change things like getting more highlights or anything out of it. And if you don't believe me, try converting your log footage to Rec 709, and then on the right side of your node tree, try to like manipulate like highlights and your shadows and stuff like that, and then try doing it under the hood before the conversion, and you'll notice that there's going to be a difference between one or the other, especially when you're getting into the more extreme end of things. I wish I could explain that a little bit better. I should be able to explain that a little bit better, but it is kind of hard to explain. So I can only explain by doing it, I guess. No problem. Oh, Cozy. Okay, you asked about this. Okay, thank God. Essentially, my camera died, and I just like didn't know what to do after. All right, dope. Damn, restarting live streams suck because now like I feel like I got to spend about another 40 minutes to get the same amount of people back in. On my way to shoot, and I'm loving this FX30. I think the FX30 is one of my favorite cameras. And I think the reason why is because it gives you a lot of the features as one of the favorite cameras, period. Made it Super 35, and then made it like a third of the, not like less, like a, yeah, about a third of the price. Because $1,600, that camera has no business being $1,600 for what you can get out of it. So, there's a ton of things that you can do with it. And I think if you can get over the whole sensor size thing, you have a really good camera on your hands. And that's from somebody who currently is looking at an FX30 right here and an FX3 right here. Actually found a Sony conversion lot especially for FX30 for ranges 3 stops. That's perfect, man. I've just been using my own, to be honest. Like I made my own quite a while ago when I had the FX6, and I made um my own LUTs that have a Rec 709 conversion in it. And then when I edit, I just go under my serial nodes and I change anything that I want to change. And that's essentially what I've been doing since like 2021, really. Any chance for getting and securing sets if you have to deal with getting what? Hang on a second. Any advice, sorry, for getting and securing sets if you ever have to deal with getting some for shoots? I use Gigster a lot. So Gigster is an app on your phone, and basically it's like a location scout tool, and you could rent locations kind of like how you book Airbnbs. And I use that a ton. So I've used Gigster for like 2-3 years now. And whenever I'm like in a new city or something like that, or I want to find something else that's like that's local or even not local, I'll use that and try to find locations from there. And you can also, I'm not, yeah, this isn't a bad thing to say. And if you have a relationship with the owner of the location while you're there, you get their contact information, and you get to save a little bit of money the next time you come up because you're dealing directly with them instead of a third party. Um, I got a 30, love the 30 got a month ago for sport video. Not gonna lie, the crop does hurt, but it's worth it for the price. Cozy, get wider lenses and get faster lenses, and that problem goes away a little bit, especially because APS-C lenses are cheaper. Um, any advice? Oh, I got that already. Hi, bro. Keep up the good work. I have a question. Is there a high difference in footage between the A7C Mark II and the ZV-E1? No, I don't think so. I think you're dealing with ZV-E1 is the same sensor as the A7 IV, so you're gonna have downsampled 4K footage out of that anyways. So it will be a little bit sharper than the 4K. But like at that point, especially when you're watching it on like like a normal screen, like your phone, like you're splitting hairs. I don't like. I think if you play two of these clips and I just didn't tell you, um, you would straight up not know, especially if like you wouldn't be able to tell, to be honest, unless you put them beside each other, which most people. Pat said this a little while ago. Like most people aren't taking two films that are the exact same, pitting them beside each other, and then making a comparison while the film's actually happening. So you're fine with either one, really. Um, between your videos, and chaps, I had to make an upgrade to Sony. I mean, I would consider that an upgrade. I like the Sony system, to be honest with you. Like, I think it's a lot of fun. I had a Blackmagic camera for a little bit, which is why I have Resolve. But truthfully, like, it's a system I will constantly have a Sony camera on me just for a lot of like the quicker stuff. I did a client project yesterday that I usually shoot on the Komodo X, and I'm like, hey, can we use the FX330, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. And they like the footage. So like, and I mean, I think I got to the rapport where I can use smaller cameras there now. So like, I could put the Komodo X in the rental house whenever I'm not using it, use it for stuff that like my own stuff if I want to. And it's just a cool thing to have. I don't think you need a red, but the Sony cameras have always been pretty solid. Francesco or French Cis Luca. I'm really bad at pronouncing names for somebody that hates having my own name mispronounced. How is your Black Magic doing? Because I know you got the 6K. Let me know how that's going, because that sounds like a lot of fun. Hello from Cleveland. Hey, Daryl, go find Terry and step on his shoes, because he was in the city like not even a couple days ago and didn't tell me, and then went back home and then got mad at me for it. So if you see Terry Warfield, step on his shoes and tell him Kofi told you to do that. Then run, because he's a big dude. Last project we had an Aria left with Cook Anamorphics, and it was a period piece. So I was so spoiled. He dreamed about that setup again. Yo, getting you know what? This is weird. Someone asked like if I would buy an Ari camera ever. I don't think I ever would. I think me buying an Ari camera would kind of feel like a dog catching its tail, where I like the idea of never being able to buy one, but always working towards buying one. Like it'll like it's kind of like putting the whole like the Twinkie over like the fishing rod and putting the guy on the treadmill and making him run after it. I think I'm gonna always like work like I want to buy an Ari, but never actually end up buying one. Because like I find once you buy the thing, and that happened, the same thing happens with the Komodo X. Like once you buy it, I got like an initial boost of work, and now I could shoot things on it, which will make it look better. Realistically, did I need to get it? No, it was a want. It's like buying a Tesla. But then after that, I'm like, okay, cool. Now what? Like I've gone through I've used it, so like I overused the Komodo X, I guess, in a little bit, because I was using it every day when I first got it. Now I use it for passion projects, or like if someone wants me to come on set as an operator or something like that. And then I immediately start thinking it's a terrible trait, and I immediately start thinking like, okay, cool, what's next? Like, what's the next thing I get to do and get to try out? And then I'm like, I don't want to experience that with an Ari Alexa, because like once you do that, like then what? So yeah, I like the idea of working like I want to get an Ari Alexa and never actually buying one. So I probably never will. I was thinking about renting out equipment. How do you feel about the process, and do you share? Ilaria, we don't have share grid in Canada. So I go through a rental shop, so they have their own insurance and stuff like that where I go through. It's a little bit safer. I do have to split the cost. I think it's like 70-30 or 60-40. I can't remember. But when I put myself up for rent, that's usually where I leave it, because like I can't be bothered with all that stuff. I would rather just give it to somebody who knows what they're doing, because generally I don't know what I'm doing. What wider lens do you think that can reach both sides of the court? I use it depends on the court you're talking about, and I'll full HD 220. I'm assuming you're talking about a basketball court. If you are, I don't know. I don't know the exact millimeters that'll get you across the basketball court. Have a 7200, I think, would be your best bet as a way to start off. And then I think if you're working in if you're in like an NBA court or whatever, depending on where you're sitting, you might want to keep like a 100 to 400 on you. But knowing the mathematical millimeters in terms of a basketball court, I wouldn't know, to be honest with you. And I'd feel bad if I told you the wrong thing. I also just realized that like there's a lag between me, like I'm watching my mouth move but not talk, and then it's coming up there. So I think as I'm answering questions, it's like there's a delay there. So I'm like looking to see the next thing, and I realize that it's a little bit behind. What's up from Minnesota? John, what up? I've never been to Minnesota. I feel like it's a lot like Canada right now, where it's cold and it's snowing, and Brett Favre used to play football there. That's essentially the only things I know about Minnesota. I wish I knew more things. Am I stupid for rigging up the A6300 into a cinema rig? Only you and the Lord know the answer to that. If the rig itself helps you solve your problems, then I wouldn't say that's a stupid thing. Yeah, that's essentially it. If it solves your problems, like I couldn't Me telling you it's a dumb idea is me lying to you and being disingenuous, because anything's a good idea if it helps you and hurts nobody else. I have a Pocket 4K and did a low budget feature on it. Now I have an FX30, and that's the highest I will go to own. Let's be honest, some people can't tell the difference. Yeah, some people can't tell the difference, really. I'm never gonna be the person to tell you that you need to get an expensive camera. I'm probably always gonna err on the side of like, these things are Teslas and they're BMWs. Do you need either one of those things to get to work? No. Does it make it way nicer when you do, though? It does. And if you have the means and the function for it, go for it. If you don't, please don't go into debt buying a camera that you know you don't need. How's the Komodo X treating you since the review? Great. I actually made that review. That was supposed to be a 1 month review, and I ended up making it 3 months after the fact. So I've had it for about almost 5 months, which I didn't realize until now, because I got it in August, and it's almost December. So it's almost, it would come up in like 4 months. It's been fine. When I need to shoot something or I need to like be part of somebody else's sets and they're using Red cameras, and I bring it with me. Like we just worked, like the film we just worked on, I was gimbal operating on my own KX while we were there, so it helps in that regard. And I'm shooting a micro doc on it right now. Right now, I'm waiting for sponsor money to come in so I could rent out a location so I could finish it up. So that's always really fun and really cool. And I just DP'd a bit of a short doc like last Tuesday. So I literally use it as like a passion project camera, and like literally it's just because it's something that it's available and I've been able to do it. Can we get a breakdown of features for your perfect camera? Mine is the FX30 with internal NDs, every anamorphic D squeeze imaginable. Yeah, I don't necessarily break down the perfect camera. It's just I can't afford it because it's the Arri Alexa. that's hang on 1 second. I gotta just move this thing, guy. The only thing with the Arri Alexa is that like I know the perfect camera for myself. If they made the Arri Alexa smaller, I would put it more in the perfect category. It just that would cost you probably $150,000. Money I never in good conscience want to spend on a camera, but that would be the Arri Alexa with RAW would be the perfect camera, I'm assuming. Driving a BMW is nicer than a Ford Fiesta. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you can get a smaller, like you could get away with a smaller system, and for most people I encourage that. But like if you're like the people that are buying the more expensive cameras, like have a little bit more, like they're aware that what they're buying necessarily. They're also, a lot of them I hope are also aware that you could use something smaller. You don't want to, which I think is perfectly fine. Hey, fellow AOD member here from Florida, how diversified are your income streams when your primary work slows down? I'm pretty spread out to the point where one of them might not exist anymore, which is going to be freelance filmmaking, which is something that I'm wrestling with, because on one end, a lot of my content hinges upon being a freelancer, but then on the other end, I do better on YouTube in some aspects. Like I have an affiliate check that's on my kitchen table that paid me more than one of the gigs that I worked on, and I didn't have to do as many things to get that check as I did to do a freelance gig. So like now those are becoming things where I'm starting to think about like diving into YouTube a little bit more in terms of like digital products and courses and sponsorships and stuff like that, because albeit, yes, being a freelance filmmaker working in the industry does have a lot of respect and weight to it. At some point that it gets outweighed by other things. And if I want to do the things that I want to do, me taking a pay cut and a stress increase to satisfy the needs of people I don't know doesn't make any sense. But in terms of diversified income streams, right now I think about like 4 between freelancing and like some of this YouTube thing, and they're all doing decent, except the freelancing one I'm not too sure if I want to keep going on. I'm not unionized. I am not part of the union, Braden. I wish I could tell you I am. I am not. So me, a whole me, has just been, running through the 6 with my woes. Also, like because I was in the fitness stuff and stuff like that, like I very much didn't ever need to, and I was so direct to client for so well, and I was literally in a island pocket, never leaving because I did decently enough where I never needed to. So I just never got around to even trying, to be honest with you. Will you try the soda Verano? Talk about it if you get a chance. Yes, I think. So I don't know if you guys know this very well, but there are two entities in terms of which Canadians can get into touch with Sony. There's Sony Canada, which is where I usually interact with, and that's where a lot of the stuff that you see me test out isn't like an embargo deal thing. It's literally just one of my buddies works at Sony marketing, and he's like, hey, if you want to borrow some stuff, I might have some stuff lying around from an event we just did. You could have it for a couple of days. Go for it. And then there's a company called Blue Pixel or Pixel Shift. And that's where you see a lot of the creators that have the embargo deals and stuff like that kind of come from. And people like they organize stuff like Camera Camp and Condo and all that other stuff. So those are two very different entities in terms of how people get stuff. So the Burano is a yes. It's just as to when, I don't know. Also because Sony Canada doesn't get a lot of stuff. Like they have one Burano for the whole country. So I either have to beg, borrow, kill, or steal. And we'll see which one that is based on the news headlines later on. Lighting, composition, editing, and grading are more critical than camera and final product. The camera can help. Yeah, absolutely. The Alario, your camera is quite literally the instrument just to make your life easier and not the thing that the entire project hinges upon. But then also, I don't know. I'm somewhat of a do whatever the hell you want as long as you have a reason. And that reason doesn't necessarily have to be verified or justified by anybody else. It just has to be a reason. And as long as you're not long-term hurting yourself, who cares? But yeah, no, there's a whole other bunch of stuff that go into production that's not just the camera body itself. What up, Jay? I haven't seen Jay in such a long time, man. I haven't been in like I was in LA, but I was like out. I don't know where the desert is called. Apparently, this is in Ontario, California, which is Canada. But yeah, I was there and I was in the desert and it was cold, but it was a lot of fun. So glad to see you in the stream. Also, don't ask me why I was hugging that water bottle. I don't know. I was around. How long do you have time in LA? You're always yo. So I've been to Los Angeles 18 times. I've seen Jay for 3 of them. One of them we were on set for a Gymshark campaign, and the other 2 was like I came to pick up gear, immediately work, and then immediately go back home. But I think one thing that this YouTube thing's kind of like been able to do is like I have a little pocket of like a really tiny stipend of money where like if I decide that I want to go like travel to the States for like a week or so to chill, especially after this trip to Africa, I'm gonna go and do that shit. So you will see me. I will be taking I'll be taking some time there and actually like chill out instead of like work all the way through and then fly back home. Good news for me. Wait, good news for me that I'm not unionized. Like, are you looking for someone to do some non-union work? Because like I could be hit up if you want. Also, I don't know. Can we run a like up maybe? We got 32 people in here. It would be really cool if you guys ran a like. I won't ask for money, but a like is free and it's quick. Okay, so I think I should probably talk about like how YouTube's kind of changed my filmmaking career because I keep having a topic that comes up at the top and then I answer questions and then like an hour will go by and then I'll get into it and then it turns out that no one really cares about the topic and I just end up answering questions for 2 hours. But the thing that I was choking on is on my nose. The idea of kind of where YouTube has kind of taken things and it's kind of created this new subsection of creators. Now, before, and I think I talked about this a little bit before, but like before there was this big almost culture war between the traditional video production world and content creators. Like there was not a lot of overlap, and the guys that did overlap, like there was always that kind of weird animosity, and like there was the idea that one didn't know the other. Now, the idea with kind of this thing now is a lot of people are using YouTube as a means to an end, which the way that they should. If you own a business in filmmaking as a freelancer or whatever the other way you want to use it, then it only makes sense to use YouTube as a tool, but not necessarily as being the entire structure. And the way that YouTube's kind of changed that for myself is that, as I was saying, like with the freelancing stuff, like I'm in a position where I don't have to do the vast majority of the things that come to that come my way. And the way that I've been able to do that, it took a little bit of patience and also understanding that you are going to swing the pendulum between being like an 80-20 filmmaker content creator and going directly into 50-50. And something that I realized that there are a lot of people that are 80-20 on the filmmaking side and the content side, but don't want to accept that. So the idea is to make any shortcomings that comes with only being 20% on the other side to kind of bring those things down, which I don't think helps anybody. But understanding that you're going to be 50-50, there's going to be times where you're going to have grind periods and periods of time where your film is content. I mean, like, in a way, yeah, it kind of is. And I mean, like, it's sorry, I'm going to interject because Lucas said something, but like, there's so many different faces of what film looks like that are outside of what we see in our backyard that like you can technically use them interchangeable. And I mean, people are going to know the difference between like a TikTok reel and a feature film. But they're all going to kind of have this interweaving umbrella where they're all going to have intersectionality to them. But like someone says them, they're all interchangeable. But anyways, shoot, I'm off track now and I forgot what I was going to say. But yeah, no. So basically what's ended up happening now is that the period of grind, the period that kind of sucks, and the way that some people look at doing corporate interviews as a way to ascertain money so they can work on commercial projects or brand stories that have more of a filmic aspect to show what they can do. That structure exists in the filmmaking space and video production space. The same way that perhaps doing the YouTube videos and reviews and tutorials and gear and stuff like that gives you enough brand and enough of the resources that when you want to go and shoot that documentary or anything like that, you have the capital to be able to do so. The only thing is that one may take longer or shorter than the other one does. And I look at them the same way that I look at doing corporate interviews that might not be the full gamut of the skills that you provide is the same level that I look at doing like a dedicated video on a piece of gear. That's my version of a corporate video. And unfortunately, if you're somebody that doesn't have a ton of cinematography experience or directorial experience, what ends up happening is you kind of have to go through those things. And that's what I've been doing over the last like year and a half, the last 180 videos or so. And now it's at a point where I might do one more push just at the very least, have the bare minimum to have the results of the people that are in the same space as me that are making way more, so that over the course of time, maybe instead of doing just a typical lens review, it's a documentary. And I have the funding to be able to do that. Like one problem I'm having right now is I'll get halfway through a film shoot and then run out of money because I'm paying out of pocket for everything. And it's not like I can't just snap my fingers and have a sponsor give me a bunch of money because they support the filmmaking community. They have expectations of how they want things to be done. You have to meet them in the middle. But ideally, the whole thing is you have to put up that upfront work in order to get those results later on. You get them exponentially after the fact. But that's changed my filmmaking because it's getting to that point where it's at the level of which where when freelance gigs come in, I can be picky with them. I could decide if I want a PA or I want to help on spec. I can go ahead and do that. And I don't lose anything. And those are the type of things that have changed the filmmaking career for me. So now, do I think everybody can do exactly what I'm doing? I understand that it's not reasonable to say, hey, go make 100 videos a year and post 150 shorts in a year and live stream every single week. That's impossible. Some people don't have the ability to do that. Some people just don't want to do that. But what I will say is that people leveraging YouTube now to do the things they want to do is just as valid as people doing the corporate interview stuff that nobody really cares about. I don't know anybody that really cares about doing that corporate interview at the end of the year because companies need to write off advertising. The same thing in my eyes, and you're gonna get to the same goal, but it's weird that one had animosity to the other. But the shoot that we worked on the other week, where 75% of the budget needed us to not only be content creators but also work on set as set workers, we had to do both. And that's starting to now bridge the gap where now you get to be a little bit of a hybrid now. And I think the game is changing a little bit. And that's where I'm like, let me go full steam on that, because I would much rather do the 50-50 than do the 80-20 and constantly be in denial about it. But yeah, that's pretty much how that's changing stuff. I'm at a place where the content I create feel all over the place. I'm doing videos about gear, videos about film. That's and like Cheyenne, that's fine. I don't think here's the thing. Like as somebody that also, if you look at like a lot of my stuff, some of it's all over the place, some of it's very structured. I think you're allowed to find your way before determining like what your thing is going to be. And it's like I don't know if you guys have this in American colleges or colleges like outside of Canada, but like I could be in when I took my BCom degree, I was an undeclared BCom major at first, right? And you got a certain amount of time where you're like not allowed to, you not necessarily not allowed, you didn't have to tell people what your specialty was. You didn't have to tell people you were in finance or you were in accounting or you were in marketing. You didn't have to say anything. You just had to take a rudimentary amount of classes and then you could decide later. And I think one's journey as a content creator can kind of be the same thing. Like you can make whatever you want and then see what does well. And if you want to double down on things that, like if there's an intersectionality between what does well and what you like, then just do that thing. It's a very, in my head, it's a very cut and dry scenario. And then you can go on from there and you don't have to worry too much about it. But yeah, I don't think if you're all over the place in the beginning, that's fine. Just you're collecting data and you just collect as much data as possible, then make educated decisions on what to do next after. Bro, you had this idea for almost 2 years ago when we were chatting and love seeing you making this happen because it's way better than 20 people dropping the same reviews. Man, yeah, no, so Jay and I have been talking about this since that Gymshark campaign during the Super Bowl weekend of all times too. I don't know why we had to do that during Super Bowl. But yeah, I was talking about the idea that we always talk about having a filmmaking community, but we only make videos from the comfort of our own home. And it would be cool if there was like big collabs where they have big brands that are behind it and everybody gets paid. We all make a project and you get to be able to be part of something a little bit bigger and still be able to do the YouTube thing because there's a lot more control in there. Now that's actually starting to happen. It hasn't come out yet. It's not like the full spectrum of what happened isn't going to come out till December 28th, but I think it's going to change how a lot of people do things. And that weird barrier between people in professional video production and content creators, I think is going to get blurred. For lack of a better word, we kind of paid everybody by being there, right? So that's pretty much how things are going to work, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm glad you're able to do more and more of what you like, or at least yeah, man. Like I don't know, in my experience with like YouTube, a lot of things, like even doing like ad integrations for certain things, have superseded some operator days that I would have to take. Like if I had to do an operator day, get paid a few $100 to come out with my camera and like add my camera fee on top of it, drive all the way out there, shoot all day, drive all the way back, and like go through all that stuff, make sure the camera's prepped. I could replace that with saying that something is sponsored by Squarespace. And like I think I've said that in like 5 different live streams, but like that really does give you a lot of freedom in terms of what you can and can't, like what you can and want to do. Also, like if I want to chill, if I've done all my kind of sponsorship stuff and I want to chill for a couple days, I could finish it all and I could chill for a couple days. Like it kind of feels like going to college, except you get paid for it. Where like if you want to front load and do all your work, you can front load and do all your work. And if you don't feel like doing that, you want to do it one by one, like you can. RV Life with Adrian and Ruth. So I have this channel, RV Life, love video productions. So you inspired me to start a second channel. Only because I'm excited to see it. Let me actually hang on. Can I join somebody? Can I subscribe to somebody in the stream? It doesn't let me subscribe to somebody in the stream. Damn it. Okay. I gotta hang on a second. RV Life with Adrian and Ruth. I gotta just make a little, gonna make a, what's it called? Make a little separate little tab over here. RV Life with Adrian. Oh, it's already, it's like in the search bar and everything too. Done. Subscribed. Good luck and have fun with it. Now I'm a loyal subscriber of the channel. Adrian over here behind the camera. Wait, why do I feel like I've seen a video? Adrian, I think I've seen one of your videos before, or if not, I already. Hang on 1 second. I think I've actually. Oh no. Okay, subscribe. There we go. Done. Sub to both. I wish you could just sub to people inside of the actual chat. But yeah, do you got? I guess the probably easiest thing to do is how many. Hang on, just got a small rig. I just got my small rig order in. Hey, what'd you get? No, Alessia, you can't just tell us that you got a small rig order and then not tell us what you got. Now you got to tell us. You got to share with the class what you got. Sony FX30 the best camera to kick off? Is man, I cannot definitively say that because there are so many different types of video production that it might not be the best camera to kick off video production in business. However, it is a very great camera for the price point that it is. So for all of the reasons that you've watched all of the Sony FX30 videos is to be true, then yes. If you disagree with any of them, then maybe not. Love your channel, bro. I'm 1 year into taking my video business serious and I've been changing as well. I also looked at your channel, forgot. Oh, thank you, man. I always have like a weird relationship with some of my content in terms of helping freelancers, because sometimes I have videos about gear, lenses, and stuff like that, and sometimes I have stuff where I just tell you stuff that happened in my life, and hopefully it helps you out as well. But sometimes those don't get as many views, so it's hard to equate that to actually helping people and not just being a thing that just happens and everybody forgets about. Shot a whole short film on the FX30. It's a great camera to start with. I second that. It's a great camera to start. Is it the best camera? The metrics of what makes the best camera, they're so blurred now. Every camera's good, so like I can't really say one is the best. There's the best just for you, I guess. Hello from Germany. K Pound. How do you say hello in German? Like you gotta like write it down and like kind of write down the pronunciation, because like next time, Germany I think is like the third biggest demographic on my channel, which is confusing because I don't speak German. I don't look like I'm German, and I don't have a German accent. Nothing about me is German. But there's a ton of German people. Oh, you say hello. Oh, okay, cool. Like that's way easier than I thought. Also, tell me if I'm being super loud. The audio is really peaking, because I'm sorry if it is. Both are super helpful. I own 2 FX30s for my wedding and sports film business. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know. The fact they made the best choice, I think, dropping the FX30 as to when it did. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like their Black Magic 4K, I guess, in a couple of ways, just because of the price point and stuff. Jockzilla, I will tell you this. You already know the answer to that question. I can't, like, I don't know. I'm not I haven't made it abundantly clear, but I don't think I'm not the person to say like you should sell this and buy this instead. But if you have a workflow that requires a need of the FX or the ZVE1 based on your research, go for it. But I don't want to be the person to tell someone like not to buy something else instead, because I don't. This is the first time we've interacted with each other, so me to give you advice of what to do with your money, it just for me doesn't feel right. I say it's one of my favorite cameras. I like it a lot. I use it a bunch, but I don't know. Something about that, like there's a certain responsibility that I feel where I don't feel right saying that. Right? I can only give you more and more information, and then you can make your own decision. The best camera you could possibly have is the one in your bag. Yeah, Underdog is totally right. The best camera you could possibly have is the one that's in your bag. And whether or not you would decide to choose that, I don't know. My big thing is do as much research as you can, and then look at what you're doing, look at where you're going, and then make those decisions from there. I don't know if that's counterculture to some people on YouTube or anything like that, but I don't know. For me personally, I'm like, I could only offer you what I've experienced. I don't want to tell you what to do. I have a ZV-E10 and an FX30. Would the investment of full train be worth it? What scenario would you? Fitness of Force, the same thing, right? It's a thing that you'll notice. Like you'll notice the difference between the like a APS-C and a full frame sensor. Will your clients suddenly start giving you more money because you have a full frame sensor? No. And do you need the things? I think the easiest thing to do is this. Do the things that you need from a full frame sensor matter as much as they do to you? If they do, cool. That's point one for full frame sensors. Are you prepared for what comes with something like a full frame sensor, like buying more expensive lenses and all that other stuff? Cool. If you do, awesome, then go for it. But I will tell you that having a full frame camera isn't going to immediately have clients be like, you have a full frame camera? Okay, yeah, let me give you more money. Obviously, I'm going to give you more cash, right? So there are differences between the two, obviously. But if you're not in a position to make that move, anything that I say may actually be hurtful to you, right? So I think that's something that like there's 178 videos, I guess, on this channel and everywhere else. I think do that research and kind of take stock into what you're doing, and then do it from there. I know that's like not the answer people want, but realistically, it's the most pragmatic one. What future cameras are you looking into getting? I've already said that if the FX6 Mark II comes out in 2024, and they fix like just the bare minimum thing, not even the bare minimum things, they just fix some of the things that I really don't like, particularly that audio top handle and just not having a good array of codecs. I will sell my Komodo X. That shouldn't be a shock to some people. I've said it 8 times so far. But yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to. The FX30 Mark II, it'd be cool, but I don't know what else you need to change on it for the price that it is and what it can do. I don't know what you would switch up on it, but any one of those two would be great. Flicks by Jay, if you have absolutely no experience in video production, the easiest thing to do is to find creative ways to get said experience. So that would be either assisting people that know more than you do, learning as much as you can, and then shooting spec work to prove that and practicing that skill set. Yeah, those are the only two that I can think of. Like that would be the easiest two is like either find yourself around people that are willing to have you on set knowing you don't have any experience to help out in some way, shape, or form, or accumulate as much knowledge as you possibly can. Practice that until you've gotten to a place where you feel comfortable showing other people the fruits of your labor. I went to Sony from FX30 and oops. Luca, can you repeat that one again? I think you're going to say you went from the FX30 to the Blackmagic 6K, but I don't know. What camera are you using for the stream right now? I am shooting on the FX30. It's one of the few cameras that you can use it as a webcam utility. And I could also use it as a webcam utility with audio, and I could use it as a webcam utility with LUTs on it, but it only goes into 720p. So right now I'm just in standard profile, but I'm using FX30 in the 13mm Viltrox 1.4. What do you think we call the FX7 knowing? No, I think they'll call the FX6 Mark II. I think that's like probably the safest SEO answer would be the FX6 Mark II. Especially if it is going to be a literal successor to the end of it. Starting mini doc about people in East North Carolina with the ZVE10 sending rig resolve and we'll start the new year. Any advice for every other week upload to the channel thing? Thank you, Anthony. So the easiest thing to do for that is break down the parts of production that if you were to watch it, you would think is interesting. So if you're making a mini doc, some things that I might want to know is like, well, how do you plan one? The behind the scenes of your shoot days. How are you grading it? How are you structuring your editing? What am I using to shoot the mini doc on? What are some of your like you go through like the process, like go through every part of your process in terms of making that mini doc, write it down on a piece of paper, and then come up with interesting titles that might include the ZVE10 as part of that title if you want to. Those are your video ideas, essentially. Love from the UK. What up, London? Waiting for the Chorus is likely to be a 24. Waiting for the Chorus is it likely to be a 2024 release? JT, are you asking me if I'm building a Chorus? My answer is yes. My imposter syndrome says maybe not. So who knows? But yeah, no. I am planning to kind of release some more educational digital products in the near future, camera guides and such. And that's something I really want to do. Is just, I got to get out of my own head about it, man. Hang on a second. There's a lot of things that just came through at the same time. Oh, I had the 6K Pro and I use the Sony but missed the Bureau. Okay, yeah. So, do you ever have you ever filmed on Nikon? I have a Nikon Z6 II. I will switch to Sony. So I will switch to Sony so many times because I think Nikon is too bad. I've never used a Nikon camera before. I've actually not used one ever. So no, I don't know. And like I feel like Nikon kind of got a bad Nikon and Nickelback get like the worst ends of every joke for reasons that kind of don't make sense. I think it was just culturally funny to not like them, and then people just didn't like them because of that. Oh, you're at a drive-through. Well, Luca, y'all can't tell me that you guys were at places or got orders and not tell me what you're getting. Like, what did you get? Where did you drive through? Did you go to Chick-fil-A? Did you go to McDonald's? Did you go to Tim Hortons? Like, where did you go? I need the storytelling. I'm also just kidding. Would you rather be able to dunk a basketball or Arri Alexa Mini LF free of charge? Here's the thing. I'm taking that Arri Alexa Mini LF. There we go. Give if you could do the thing from like Space Jam where you suck up the athletic ability from somebody and you give it to like the Monstars, but like in exchange instead of being a Monstar, I get an Arri Alexa. Fine, no problem. Hey, just picked up the Sony FX30. I was wondering what your thought was on the Tamron 70. It's great. I think somebody did a review on the 17 to 70. Also, Carl Vita, I've never used it. One thing that I really feel weird about is whenever I talk about lenses I haven't used, because I feel like a liar. But I've not used it. I've heard good things, which is probably the same things that you've heard. So I think try it out, and then you tell me if it's a good lens. I guess that's the easiest way to go about that. I have two Canon M50s I use for YouTube, but bought Sony FX30 after starting my LLC and doing more commercial work and love it. Man, you won't be upset about it. I think, like, I don't know. I feel like most cameras that you buy, like, as long as you get the glass that you need for it, it's very hard to be. It's very hard to buy a camera and be mad unless you like didn't do any research at all. G'day, Kofi. Sony 24mm 1.4 or the 16-35 to 8. I'm torn. I feel like those are two for very different reasons, though. Like if you're in a place where if you've controlled lighting setups, you get a 16-35, you have the range for it, but also like 16-35 is a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, but I know you good for it though. I know I've been good for it though. So I mean, you can get that 16-35 and get the you know what? Get the 16-35, shoot a bunch of jobs, and buy the 24 later. Then you have both. You don't have to ask me one or the other. Just get both. Don't choose. Collect. I love that you won't tell anybody. Definitely buy this camera or that camera. But one of your future video ideas, call me to FX30. One of my future video title ideas is Kofi told me to buy an FX30, so I did. Honestly, can you tag me in the description so it shows up as a mention, because that would be hilarious. But yeah, no, there's a couple of tenets that I have like in terms of the whole YouTube thing. Also just to avoid me feeling like a dick. One of which is that like I don't like to talk about things that I don't own very often. Or I've never used very often, like stuff that like the Burano when it came out, or like the A6700. It was just like I wanted to report on the news kind of thing. So I wouldn't really tell you a camera's like good or bad. I would just tell you like on the information that we all have, what I think. But then that like you could get that information anywhere kind of thing. So that's kind of how I look at it. And then the second thing is that I don't feel comfortable telling people what cameras to buy or not buy, because it would be impossible for me to actually know all of you guys personally, especially when I've interacted with you for the first time or only through comment sections and stuff. So it's tough for me to be like, I know your exact situation and your financial situation. Go buy this thing. That makes it really tough to do. So I don't. Created my first sports commercials for an up and coming pro boxer here in Louisiana. Feel like a lot from the experience. Learned a ton from you. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you, man. I got to get back on shooting some more fitness stuff now that I have like the channel's monetizable. So I want to start getting back into that, but like being a little bit more picky, but then also being a little bit more creative with it. I find my idea of like getting away from freelance is like I don't know, and it's tough with the fitness community because there's so many people that like want something from you all the time. They don't want to pay any money for it. I don't want to run into that rat trap sometimes just to make content, because you end up being in a weird wheel and it sucks. So, but I do want to get back into it. I haven't really shot a ton of fitness stuff this year, which makes me a little bit upset, but not as much as I used to, but I want to get back in. I also want to do a lot more photos. I haven't done that in a really long time. What C-stands do you recommend if you use them? I'm going to give you a disagreeable answer, but I do use them. Is I have the newer C-stands. People hate them. I hate them, but I don't want to spend $300 for a C-stand to get the Avengers or any of the Matthew stuff. So that's the one thing that I've just been kind of cheap on. Don't cheap out on C-stands. It's probably a bad idea. But also I talk from two sides of my mouth because I cheaped out on C-stands, and I can confirm it's a bad idea. This video is actually about importance of knowing your camera. Oh, the video is actually about knowing the importance of knowing your end game camera when influencers are telling you gear doesn't matter. I have a big, I don't know, if I was to say I have one pet peeve in terms of the filmmaking community, and I'm not going to point out anybody individually. I think it's just everyone's entitled to say what they want to say and have their takes. But I don't like creative virtue signaling at all. I don't like the idea where on one end people will say gear doesn't matter, but then you also have dedicated videos on gear. But like once your views drop, suddenly it stops mattering anymore. And I think that makes me feel really uncomfortable and, if anything, a little bit annoyed, because on one end, people will be like, oh, like you don't need all of this fancy stuff, but like if I'm getting paid to review fancy stuff, I'm like, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird thing that I'm not a big fan of. So the way that I wanted to approach YouTube when I started was like, yeah, I'll still do reviews and tutorials and stuff like that, but it's more so like, hey, you might run a Sony Venice one day. And you're like, hey, well, I wonder if anyone else has had the same problems that I did, or like, has anybody else used a Sony Venice and encountered X, Y, and Z? And you're like, oh shoot, this Kofi guy, like, he uses Sony Venice. He doesn't own it, but like he used it, and like here's some things that like he also didn't know. Cool. This is a human person that has like even a 10% more experience than I do that could help me out with one thing later on. That's enough for me to make the video. Like, that's literally like, if that justification happens or one person learns a thing, then it's justification for me to learn it. But I do feel uncomfortable when people say like gear doesn't matter and you shouldn't buy gear, but then also at the same time, when you're doing sponsored videos, suddenly it matters again. I don't know. That's just me. And I don't say everybody does it, but it does happen sometimes. Brendan, if you need a camera up in North Carolina, I'm down to help. Live stream is doing now. People are getting work out of this live stream. Let's go. That's actually really cool that you guys can get. If anyone needs a camera operator in Toronto, bro, hit me up, because sometimes I have some spare time, and yeah, I just like being around. Are there important topics to you, politics that you don't share about on YouTube, that you think might expand into your? No, not at all. I'm not a very political person. And I don't want to be a political person, because I think I understand that A, it's incredibly polarizing. B, I'm not incredibly researched on everything as it happens when it happens. And I feel uncomfortable with talking about things that I don't know about. I don't like talking about things I don't know about. So I don't have a lot of interest in researching politics and stuff like that. So I don't think I'm going to. Also, I don't want to portray my politics on social media, because we all know how that goes, and it's never really good. Damn, that was typo earlier. No worries. Yeah, you got McDonald's. Okay, about to shoot a short film and acting in for my channel here. Oh, that I'm acting in for my channel. That's funny. I have McDonald's very seldomly. I think I've never had a McDonald's hamburger. I've only ordered nuggets since 95. Since 1995, I've only ordered chicken nuggets from McDonald's. I've never had a McDonald's hamburger, which might scare some people. Sigma 24 to 70 and 10 to 20. That's you got good coverage then. You golden. You already know I'm gonna get both. I have a wife and kids, so I have to throw out on my spends, bro. God bless you. God bless you. And I mean, I think like maybe like with all the stuff that you got, like if you started reviewing some of that gear, especially like when you're working on set too, man, I don't know, it might go a long way. I'm going to see about acting and filmmaking more seriously in the next year. So I thank you again, some other people, for the motivation. I think that's what it's here for, man. Also, just because like I have an hour and a half before my my brand manager call, so like I just like chilling in here, and these lives are pretty cool. Do you use the FX30 as your main camera for client work? No, not maybe like 10% of the time. So I did yesterday because I do ad shoots for a supplement company, and we do ads for like 5 days straight. It's insane. But we did use the FX30 yesterday, mostly because the Limo cable on my Red Komodo X audio module stopped working. Excuse me. So I have used it before. I just don't use it often. You will definitely be tagged. All the info in your videos have helped so much with starting this road. Thank you, man. One thing. Okay, so if anybody is looking into YouTube and they're in the same position that I was in the summer of 2022, what I would recommend, and especially like, and here's the thing, and like you could take it or leave it, and it's free game, take it or leave it. The idea is with new YouTube channels is that you have to have you have to convince people to give you a reason to care about you, right? Like if I just started coming up the game swinging with BTS videos and telling you how to be a filmmaker, doesn't matter. You don't know me. You have no incentive to care. The reason what I did is I came in with putting a prefix or putting like a little accent of the camera that I was using into every one of the videos that I had, because people that don't know you as a creator or don't know you as a filmmaker, don't know your work, will look up the tools that people use. It's a thing that happens. It is what it is. So the idea is that instead of saying like, this is BTS on my shoot, it'd be like, this is BTS on my shoot with an FX6. this is me color grading a project with my FX6, because people that are looking at the more people are looking for the FX6 and they are looking for your information. And then over time, what ends up happening is that the people that are watching your videos are like, oh, this person isn't just trying to sell me this camera. They're giving me information, just how I use it on mine. And then if somebody has a camera that's not the same thing, they'll ask those things, and you can tell them the answer to those things as they happen. Then you can transition into giving a little bit more topical advice, because you've earned the trust of these people that you have good information. That's one way of doing it. So um, I don't remember what the question was. That's what somebody asked, but so the FX30. So the idea is I have 52 FX6 videos and 50-ish FX30 videos, and not all of them are sales pitches. Some of them are just how to use the thing. So then when I talk about things like getting the right BTS or doing these live streams, there's a sense of, well, this person gave me value already. Well, I may as well go in the live stream because he's going to give me more knowledge because he already did on the camera that I was interested in or that I have already, right? So if you think about the audience in that way, like there's no reason for an audience member to go onto YouTube and click on your video specifically, but there is a lot of value in you give somebody what they're looking for, and then you put yourself at the back end of the thing that you already initially gave them. It's kind of like a you help me, I help you thing. Do you ever have that? Did you ever happen? Wow, I can't read today. Did ever happen to you? Oh wow, okay, that was a funny sentence. Essentially, do I have Flickr when I'm using NTC or PAL? Happened to me in Dubai, but only in a new location, restaurants. You can use the variable shutter on the FX30 or on any of your other cameras. I think the FX3 and the FX6 do it. You can use variable shutter to get rid of that, but I have not had that happen before. Same, if anybody needs a camera operator in Spain, I'm here. Dang, there's a lot of people in Spain. Okay. I didn't know people in Spain watch this stuff. Also, I didn't know people in Ghana watch this. I don't know if anybody in Ghana right now is out here. I think it's it's very early for you guys. But I'm no surprise, I'm going to Africa in 3 weeks, and I've kind of mentioned it at nauseum at this point. But the amount of Ghanaian creators that have like reached out in the last like 48 hours is absolutely wild, because I didn't know a lot of Ghanaian people watched YouTube like that. So thinking of doing a creator meetup while I go there. But yeah, that's really cool that so many people from different parts of the world are watching this, and not just people that live in my city. Kofi, I need you to I need you to get that one Mars enhanced and compare it to the original. Flix by Jay, I think I have an email from Hollyland like now. Actually, I think it literally is in my email. We will work on it. We're working on it. We will find out. I will, if you see me with it, if you see me in these streets, mind your business. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I have no idea if I will get it. I have had I've had the Hollyland Mars 4K I used all last year. I have the DJI one now. And I had the Mars M1 for a while. But I am excited to see what they do with that. I'm excited to see the 7-inch version, because I think they're coming out with one soon, because I saw it at an IB. Any plans to move to the USA? No, I like being Canadian. I like having my free healthcare. Not a gigantic fan of the people that are running the place, but also I feel like in the United States, some of you guys aren't either. So, no, I don't think I'll be moving to the US. Also, like the visa process, especially as like a creator, is insane. Like I would have to find somebody to sponsor my visa, which essentially, like I would basically have to like work for somebody. Hang on one second. Yeah, like the visa process to getting to the United States as a creator might be a little bit tougher, so I don't know if I want to do that. I was taking photos for the last 2 years as a hobby, but upgraded to the Canon R6 for video and photo last week. My small rig order came to body cage, top handle, and side. Oh, okay, dope. Oh, so you got your basics. Hey, you're ready to start going then. Um, you might find late. I don't know if you'll find this later, but the second that I rigged out my camera that I use for photos and videos was the second I also realized I need a second camera, because I don't want to have to like use a cage to take photos. And it drove me insane a little bit. So I ended up buying a second camera like right away. But also bought a Ronin SC from a friend. But video is so hard. Video is very different than photography, and I think you'll learn that soon. But also, like if you kind of stay at it, like you'll figure it out, man. Like it's hard, but it's not impossible. What's the best codec to shoot for the FX30? I mean, technically RAW if you want to do it externally, but it'll crop in a little bit. XAVCI I think has the least amount of compression. So like best, if you mean by like in terms of like the highest bit rate, it's XAVCI. In terms of best to use, up to your use case, to be honest. My friend was charged with $3,000 just for a respiratory checkup and X-ray. Yo, see, Ash, that's why I'm not moving to the United States. Like $3,000 to get a checkup and X-rays. That is a whole. I could buy a whole camera for you to tell me that I'm fine. No, I don't want that. So also Canadian healthcare, it's free, but you may be waiting months for like the same, like you might be waiting months for something very simple, which sucks. And sometimes you spend a ton of time in hospital lines if you do have an emergency. So like that's kind of the double-edged sword. Any thoughts on the Zhou and Molas G200 light? I will have thoughts possibly soon. I don't know yet. Writers for Writers of Asteroid, ask me that in about a month and a half, and I will be able to tell you. I've got a 750D as well. That was my first cam for photos, and I liked it a lot. And you know what? You probably like a lot of like, if a camera's a straight photo camera, I don't see a need in changing it very often. I probably wouldn't. But also I always feel weird only having a photo camera. That's because I started in video. But like, there's a ton of really good cameras from like 2017 that are still really good and hold up today. Not sure if I missed it, but what was in store for the YouTube channel and your career-wise in 2024? Any plans to come to the UK? JT, if there is any entity that will pay for me to come to the UK, I will be there in a heartbeat. Currently, as it stands, that's not the case. Stuff for the channel, I think, like, I'm on a teeter-totter, man. Like, there's going to be a lot of so every Sunday I'm going to do something called a super fan Sunday, which is going to kind of be like a story time video. There's not going to be a lot of B-roll, not a lot of cuts in it as well, and it's something I could like batch record very easily. And like if I have to like travel or something like that, there's always a video that's going to be on Sundays, and I think that's going to start next Sunday. So there's always going to be like a talking head, kind of like this kind of video, that'll always be on a Sunday morning, same time. And then the rest of it is like I've made a list of like 12 lens sets that I want to try out. And then I want to not just try them out, but I want to shoot a piece on each one, whether it be a 30-second commercial or a micro doc or whatever. I want to make sure that I stay true to doing it that way. And then showing you like the product, like obviously the lens set, the behind the scenes. And then another thing I want to add is I'm going to add in a members only raw footage kind of deal. So a lot of questions I get asked a lot is like, oh, like, can you like post the raws or whatever and like send it for us to be able to play around with? And my general answer is going to be no, for the same reasons why in professional video productions you don't give raw footage to clients, at least not for free. So the idea is like I'll have a membership tier where like you can download the raws based like on the reviews. So if you do want to like, kind of play around with the footage that's there, that you can, right? That's in my eyes, I think that's fair, especially if I'm going through 4 weeks of testing out this lens in multiple different situations. At least I'm going to have as a membership if you want to just take those clips and do whatever you want with them. But those are things that are kind of stuff that's going on. And then for the most part, that's essentially how the channel is going to kind of roll. And then I do have things where like they're just in case. So if the FX6 Mark II comes out in 2024, like I literally have a PDF of scripts, thumbnails, and video ideas for when that happens that will start being posted immediately after it actually gets announced. I don't know if it's in 2024. I have no idea. But whenever it is, that there's 50 videos in that. There's a weekly story time thing. So there's already at the bare minimum, if the FX6 Mark II comes out next year, there's at bare minimum 102 videos, 104 videos that you might see. Anything else that's in between that, it's going to probably add up on top. Any thoughts on Lumix cameras like the S5 or S5 II Mark X? I had one for 2 months actually. Carl Vita. It's just it's a camera. It's really good. It's a great camera. I couldn't bring myself to care, and it's a good camera, but it wasn't enough for me to change my mind about what I already had. If that makes any sense. Hey, about looking at the Pure Gear CF Express Type A cards. No, I have not, because I got these joints right here. Let me just flex myself a little bit. I got this guy right here, which is the Angelbird 1 terabyte CF Express Type A. I got 2 of them. So I will never be looking at as memory cards again in the CF Express Type A format. Shout out to Angelbird because they sent me both of those cards. But yeah, no, probably not. Dude, I'm from Germany, and I think healthcare is just too expensive. Healthcare in most places where it's not free is too expensive, and then with healthcare when it is free, it's kind of crap. You're kind of screwed either way, and that also explains why doctors make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're all just peasants at the bottom. Are starting to get recognized in public. Yes. Yeah, in weird places too. Like okay, so in Toronto, there's a ton of like different creators events, and different creators will have different like meetups and stuff like that. And I'll get recognized at those pretty often and pretty regularly. In terms of like people outside of like the content creation space, very rarely. But in terms of people that like work at camera shops or people that like are other creators as well, um, yeah, a little bit more often than I thought I would. We could have started a petition for you to feature in Top Boy. Yo, honestly, one day. Oh no, it's over. Shit, I can't. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't do it, fam. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have to like watch a couple episodes of Top Boy. Then like my accent. I'm not even from the UK. My accent like comes out like this, but I got to watch like 2-3 episodes of Top Boy to get it. I might do a whole video in it, but I think I might offend some people from the UK in it. USA charged $900 for the ambulance. People call Uber. Yo, Ash, stop. You're not making a good case to move to the United States. I don't want to pay $900 to get in an ambulance. Or you just like don't ever get hurt. I guess that's fair too. What is some basic advice you give to beginner videographer if you're trying to go full time? Danny Guido, I have made 4 videos recently. Watch all of them. And that is my basic advice. Been wishing to start informative YouTube videos, shorts, reels. I just have plain white wall behind me. No space equals no depth. I have a 60-watt daylight balance light. Not satisfied with output. I'd say try it anyways. Here's the thing. If you guys go search up, the name would be Penguin Zero, Charlie. Now, this man has like 14 million subscribers and straight up is sitting in his room, just sitting in his room. I think I don't even know if he's using an actual camera. It looks like it's a webcam. And he's just talking at you for like anywhere between 8 and 23 minutes. And when I tell you that this man his presentation gets you so hooked that you will sit there and watch 3 hours of his content per day. And he has like, I think like he'll have a video that came out like in 8 hours will have 500,000 views. That's the kind of pull that you can get. Like that's kind of pull that doesn't depend on like what your backdrop looks like for your YouTube videos, man. So I would say like if you got something to share and everything else, if everything else is constant and the only thing stopping you is your background, throw a plant there, put a lamp in the background, and get to work, my dude. Belgium healthcare is actually pretty good. Okay, so Alessia's making a good case for Belgium. Y'all got good chocolates and stuff there too. Y'all got African people though. I don't know about Belgium. I've never met a Belgian or Dutch African person that was there by choice. So you sell me this Belgium thing, Alessio. Actually, no, y'all taxes are crazy. Never mind. Forget what I said. Damn 4. Yeah, no. So they're all recent though, Danny. They're all recent. They're all super recent. So I would say also some of them like the titles like you wouldn't think they're general advice, but like SEO and because most people come to my videos because their FX30 was easy to make. So there's an easy guide to pricing yourself as a filmmaker that was 3 days ago. Goddamn. There's another one on you're not getting filmmaking you're not getting filmmaking clients because you're not doing this. It's on spec work. Start your filmmaking career on the Sony FX30, and then I think there's some from like a really long time ago. So there's some from like the beginning of the year, and some from last year as well. So there's a ton of stuff that's there. You know what, Alessio, too? Like, I guess with like higher tax rates and stuff like that, like the stuff that you would spend your money on, you don't have to. I guess like you could have lower, but then like when you pay like me paying if I have to go to the ambulance twice in a year, like that's $1,800. So that's not not amount of money I want to spend. And like and that's not even figuring out like what's wrong with you first. So I mean that's fair. So just so you guys know, Brady was supposed to Brady Bissett was supposed to be on this live today, but his birthday was yesterday, and he texted me and he was too hungover to show up. Actually, he didn't say he was too hungover. He couldn't make it because it's his birthday. So, But I think we're supposed to have a live maybe next week. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it next week because we both have some new Connor Blue rigs for our FX cameras that we were gonna just like set up while we were on live, which would be kind of cool. So that was something. Wait, chocolate beer. Wait, hold up, Alessio. There's no French fries in Belgium. I have questions. Explain. I need you to explain why there's no French fries in Belgium. Is it because they just don't like French people? Because then my secondary question is like, are French fries actually French? French fries don't exist. Like, don't exist in Belgium, or like they don't exist in general? Because like, hang on a second. If you have do you have a wild take on French fries that they don't exist, or they just like there's no French fries in Belgium? Oh, when I'm in Montreal, they call them fries. Wait. Hang on. Are we the only ones that call French fries, or just because countries that are close to France or speak French just call them fries because they don't need to call them French fries because they're already French? Oh, Belgium invented fries, but American soldiers confused them for France. Americans, I have a question. How did you, you know what? I'm not going to ask how you screwed that up because you guys traveled to America and thought it was India. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, I didn't know about this whole French fry thing. Like I've been just calling them French fries for the longest time. I'm learning a lot today. See, look, you guys didn't. See, it's not just a one-way exchange. I'm learning some stuff today too. God damn, it's just fries in Germany. Okay, well now I know something. Now I learned something new. What time is it? Well, we've almost been live streaming for 2 hours, and I still have an hour that I gotta wait for the call that I gotta go on. Honestly, a lot of Europe's just confusing, man. Like the second I started hearing about some of the weird historical confusion, definitely weird political confusion that like in Europe in general, just not even just like France or Belgium, just in general. Um, I'm just like, all right, y'all have that. That's not for me. That is not something that I am prepared to or inclined to want to do. I love how we went from like talking about how YouTube changed my filmmaking career to like whether or not French fries exist. Which is the fun part about live streaming, is that you could always do weird stuff. My question for you guys, I guess, who who are the people in the stream now that are looking at doing YouTube in 2024, and what about it do you want to do? I guess. What country would you consider moving to? Here's the thing: like all of them have pluses. Honestly, I'm afraid of going to Ghana, like I'm going, because I'm afraid I won't come back. 100%. Like if you saw where I'm staying for the month, and how not that expensive it is versus how much like how long we're staying for, um, I am in a very real fear that I might just like earn enough money in Canada on YouTube and then immediately leave, or like only be in Canada between like May and September, and like Thanksgiving fly back and not come back for a while. I'm heavily considering that. So yeah, Ghana would be technically would be where I would live if I was to move somewhere else. Started mini docs in 2024. Every other week upload. Gold. Tell people stories. There we go. Anthony Benda. We like it. I love to hear it. Every other week uploads and doing a mini doc every other week. That's an undertaking. God bless you. Maybe yeah, but hesitant because imposter syndrome, not really knowing what's uploads and stuff. Alessio, here's the thing. There are videos with the same subjects. There's going to be videos with the same subjects. There are a ton of them, but the same way that all math teachers teach math doesn't negate the fact that students can still learn math even though there's a bunch of math teachers around. Just keep it in mind. I'm going to do filmmaking lifestyle content. Go ahead and subscribe. Perfect. I really need to find like a live subscribe button. Can I just I just want to like press it and like subscribe right on the spot? So I got to like go back in the live chat in the replay and kind of go through everybody's stuff. I actually want to add some more slice of life videos as well. Like I find there's more things to do with being in like the filmmaking space than like BTS and gear reviews. I'm like, bro, I want to talk about like the fits. I don't know. Like, sorry, I made an Instagram reel about like wearing the same thing every day, and I want to make a video on just like talking about like filmmaker fits. To be honest with you, and I want to find out like who's the drippiest director in Hollywood. I might actually make the video. But anyway, me and my friends started with YouTube last week, and we do car videos and photo on Instagram because we always watch. Oh, we always watch our car, and I thought it'd be yeah. Honestly, can do it. I think find like you found a thing that you like, run with it, and if you stop liking it, then you stop liking it. But like run with it until it's no longer entertaining to you. Then you can move on to the next thing if you like. I'm challenging myself in 24 though. I'm gonna try to take a picture every day for 2024, upload it to Instagram with a reel or TikTok with the editing. I like that. What do you think some of the hacks? What do you think about hacks YouTube videos? They're interesting to watch, but I probably wouldn't use them. There are certain things that are like, certain things that like when I watch them, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'll do nothing with that information after the fact, but like there's no video that I've ever seen, and I'm like, unless it was like something that was racist, sexist, or bigoted, that I would be like, you shouldn't have posted that. There's not. I don't think I've come across a video that's like that. Because I think every video kind of has an idea. Like there's a thing that every video kind of has, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with the hacks videos. And I think like as long as you are self-aware that these hacks might not be used by different people, or maybe like it's not the smartest idea in the world, I think it's fine. I'll try to do some tech camera gear reviews and whatnot because I work for Apple. Dope. I have to finesse around what and how to say things because of conflict of interest. Oh, wait, Danny. So, like, are you not allowed to talk about anything that's like not Apple related, or are you not allowed to talk about anything Apple related? Because I used to work for an APR in like where I used to when I used to go to college, and we didn't have no one was on YouTube really then, but I don't know how that works now. If you're an Apple employee, like, are you allowed to still make content? Um, I don't know if you already answered this, but any tips you would give to practice manual focus and how to practice manual focus with movement? The manual focus thing, Alessio, is manual focus because it's a tactile thing. You have to have the lens in your hand in order to learn how to do it. Like it's hard to like you can't really. I can't write down tips for you in terms of what to do. You kind of have to um you have to do it. It's kind of explaining like an exercise. Like I could tell you what a squat is, but it's hard to understand and grasp the concept unless you've done a squat. I hope that makes sense. But grab your lens and start doing it, and like use the same lens for a while and then try different lenses because all of them have different focus throws. So like you might be a little bit off or a little bit whatever, but like you'll kind of get a feel for a lens after a little while. There you go, Lario. I like that. Building everyone's getting into like making microdocs and films that like you post on YouTube, which I think is really cool. But it's a lot to learn because I always took photos, but video is completely new to me. But I watch a lot of your videos and FTF. What's FTF? Oh, full time filmmaker. Okay. Sorry, it took me a little while to figure that one out. Hang on 1 second. Perfect. Brand manager said we are going to go on call in a little bit, which is dope. I work for Apple too. We have to submit all tech related content to a board for them to review and see if it's not a conflict of interest. If you get caught up, wow, I didn't know that. Like, yeah, when I was working at Apple APR, like it was, I think I quit in like 2014, so I never even had a YouTube channel at the time. I didn't know that. But like so like you can't talk. Like, can you talk about cameras? Like, I'm sure you like if you have a FX6 and you make content about that and like cinematography, like you still have to submit that to Apple because that's kind of dumb. Because then it's like at the end of the day, like they could basically like hold your content hostage, and then you never get to you do anything with it. I didn't know that. That's actually really that's interesting. I didn't know you. I guess we're in a time where like we've never really had people that could also be social media personalities and work a regular job at the same time. At least not like as much as it is now. Ooh, I have a question for you guys now that we've like everyone's kind of talked about their YouTube channel. Um, what are videos that you find would be helpful to you that I might be able to make? I'm kind of doing this thing. I'm kind of farm some content and farm some ideas. I already kind of have a brainstorm of like 200 ideas. But I'm interested to hear kind of what the general consensus is in terms of what people are trying to learn, versus just things that I think are interesting. You can give feature tips and stuff. You can't just. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, anything Apple makes. Okay, and hang on. Wow, hang on. That's wild. What do you think about the edit before the shoot? Shot listings up. Okay, that's an interesting one. Organize video files after framing. Okay, after filming. Sorry, I have a video on the Ash. There's a video that's already in there. More short story film projects. Isaac, you will be brought on for those. Um, yeah, Isaac, you'll be brought on for those. Just keep it locked. I'm almost at a point where I'm caught up on stuff, but also by the time I'm caught up, I'm on a plane and I'm leaving. So probably when I get back. So many jobs social media and saying you represent your employer even when not working a shift. I know that is true, Ilario. I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that kind of thing. Because I don't I'm not like my employer doesn't own me and I don't get paid enough that like when I'm done my shift that I still have to like outside of the idea where like if I'm doing something offensive, like I don't feel like it's ethically right in my eyes to be like kind of own somebody, but whatever. Okay. I haven't checked the whole channel yet, but videos on how you come up with ideas. There's a video on specifically how I make YouTube video ideas, and batch recording and stuff like that. That is a video that like that's the one video where like if I'm gonna go and make like a Matt Diavella kind of styled video, like that's kind of what I'm gonna try doing. I just have to kind of uh collect myself until I'm back home. Can I already like those like some of the hard part with making a video, kind of like doing the BTS starting from zero, is you would have to basically Men in Black neuralize everybody you know, make them forget that you exist, and then like spin the block and try it again, which might be tough. Now, the way that I might be doing it is because I'm leaving, like I've left the fitness industry already. Um I might actually just kind of like swallow my pride and do certain jobs where like I work as a PA for somebody. There's a video where, like I was a key grip and an operator and stuff like that, where I wasn't like the DP on a set. Some of those videos they're on the way, but yeah, in terms of like starting from scratch and documenting it, especially with like Toronto's a big small city, it'd be really hard for me to do that in good faith, and people just pretend that they have no idea that I could do anything, which would be super tough. So I think it'd be something I'd have to like recap rather than do all over again and document. And also, I don't think it would help anybody else doing that because it wouldn't be a relatable experience. I don't think. I feel like a video about oh no, sorry, video on soft skills. Yeah, okay, I like that one. I like that one. There's a few of them that like. There's definitely a few videos on soft skills that you can use in the space, and I also think um the landscape of how everything works too. There's more to it than there's more to filmmaking than just like being on set. There's different types of video production. I think that's also video that might be valuable to a lot of people. Those are really good. I'm super surprised nobody said, "Hey, can you review the Nisi Athenas?" Because I've been asked that maybe 17 times. Um, Those are really cool. I think some of these are videos that I think are already on the list of stuff, and some of them are stuff I hadn't thought about people wanted to know about, like how to organize video files after filming. It's something I didn't think anybody like wanted to hear from. Um, Also, it's a very quick video, so it might be a YouTube short or something. In the video on how Markbone, I could make that video very short. Um, Me and Mark had one conversation about the channel. I'm gonna be honest with you, I only listened to about 30% of the advice that he gave after that review that video, and I kind of just did the Miles Morales, like I'll do my own thing. Did my own thing, and then Mark called me back and he's like, "You did your own thing and didn't listen to me at all, and that actually worked out for you. Congratulations." That's how. Uh, that's how it was. That's the video. That's all I can give you. Um, and then like I got brought on to like being part of the cinematic eye and stuff like that, and I still help with like thumbnails and stuff like that. But in terms of like outright advice for YouTube and stuff like that, being part of creator and stuff like that, I have literally the call I have in about a couple minutes is with my brand manager, and also Armando Ferrero owns a company as well, so he actually like deep dives into my analytics on a bi-weekly basis, and me and him like brainstorm on strategies and what to do next, and that's a lot more in depth. That is a video that's coming later, actually. So uh might be a little bit of a plot twist, but yeah, no, that would be a very short video. Um if I was to offer anything. Make a top 10 list videos. They're not the best, but YouTube loves that stuff. Yeah, I did a top 10 ways you can make money on the FX30, and it's doing really, really well. I do have a video on the top 10 filmmaking content trends that I like a lot, and some of them are ones from channels that like you might have never heard of, and some of them are really, really, really cool. So that is an early 2020. That's a January video, which will be really fun. And it's also going to shout out a lot of people that like you guys might have not like watched before. Or someone with your required skills and business management you see and help someone. Yeah, man. The JT, some of those videos are starting to come out. I think they're going to be like a hybrid between being the story time videos and some of the other stuff, but those are coming out soon, which is really cool. I feel that video explaining people try experimenting when you're just starting out in filmmaking can be a really good thing. The video or networking collaborating. Here's the thing. The video on networking, video networking I think is valuable, but I think the hard part with the videos on networking kind of feel the same as like telling somebody how much they should charge as a filmmaker. And I think the reason why is because when you're talking about networking, you would have to assume that everybody you're interacting with is the exact same person, where you'd have like a formulaic way of doing it, outside of just like the topical, be a good person, provide value. You know what I mean? I got to think about that one. That might be a cool one to do, but also a challenge because it's hard to give it's hard to give a manual on how to have a personality and be social and interact with people. That's a hard one to like, and it's hard to give like to make that a thing that you could watch and be like, okay, I have to act a certain way or do whatever, because then you might breed a generation of people that are acting like things that they aren't because they think that's the way that they should, if that makes any sense. But I could give it, but what I can do, I'm not going to say I'm not going to do this, but what I can do is I can tell you how, what I did that drastically changed a lot of the things in terms of how I networked with a lot of people. Cause I went from, I think around this time last year, I had 76% less subscribers, and I definitely didn't have any YouTuber friends. So that in 12 months is something that there must be something that I could pull out of that. So hopefully I will. That'll be kind of cool. That being said, my call is actually gonna be slightly earlier, which means I also get to go to the gym earlier, which means I also get to eat earlier. But thanks you guys for coming for the weekly live. This is gonna be on the replay, both on both parts of it, because the first 40 minutes kind of just disappeared. But thank you guys for showing up. Thanks everyone who liked. Thanks everyone who sent super chats, super thanks, anything like that. If you guys have any extra questions, I think you could ask them in the comment section for these. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but like I'm not very good at answering DMs that are direct, mostly because I don't know. It's like I like to answer things where everybody else can see the answer. But yeah, that's about it. So see you guys later. Enjoy your Wednesday. Shit, it's only Wednesday. All right, cool. I'll see you guys later. Peace.